Testing, 1, 2. This is a test. Hello, I am calling in to test the audio as a caller. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the reorganization meeting of the Abington Heights School Board. Would everyone please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Abdallah?
Here.
Mr. Azar?
Here.
Mr. Fleming? Mrs. Henderson?
Here.
Mrs. Karam?
Here.
Mr. Medensky?
Here.
Mr. Robeson?
Here.
Mrs. Tierney? Here. Mr. Acker?
Here. Thank you very much. The next part of our meeting is board reorganization, and I will now accept nominations from the board for the election of a president pro tem to conduct our annual reorganization meeting.
I nominate Greg Medensky.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any comments? Roll call?
Mr. Abdallah?
Yes.
It should only be, so it should only be incumbent, correct?
Right.
Okay, so Mr. Azar?
Yes.
Mr. Fleming?
Yes.
Mr. Medensky?
Yes.
Mr. Robeson?
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney? Yes. Mr. Acker?
Yes.
Yeah. At this time, I will ask all individuals who are elected to step forward to take the oath of office. This includes Emily. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this one was on all the time. This time I'll ask all the individuals who are elected to step forward to take the oath of office. Michelle Tierney, Rod Azar, Emily Karam, Gretchen Henderson, and Anthony Abdallah.
Medensky, I would ask that since we have non-incumbents also being sworn in, that I do them individually, is that meet with the board to approve it?
That would be great. Yes, yes, that's fine.
That's here. How many times have you done this, Michelle? You're good.
I, Michelle Tierney,
You solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge my duties
and I'll discharge my duties
as director
as director
of the Abington Heights School Board
of the Abington Heights School Board
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me
So help me God.
family here?
No.
No, they were when we first did this. How long ago was that?
We got one side.
When was that?
That was October.
Oh, my sorry. Okay. Right, sorry, ready? Can you read it right here?
I write it.
You solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend
That I will support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
as director of the Abington Heights School Board
as the Abington Heights School Board
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So particular order, but maybe alphabetical order. Mr. Abdallah, you can stand right here for me and actually I'll have your family stand up with us. If you don't mind. Stand up there, guys. Okay. Mr. Abdallah, if you can raise your right hand. I, Anthony Abdallah,
I, Anthony Abdallah,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
as Director
as Director
of the Abington Heights School Board
of the Abington Heights School Board
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Mrs. Henderson? H is before K. All right, Mrs. Henderson, Dr. Henderson, and the Henderson girls will come forward. Thank you. And raise your right hand like that. I, Gretchen Henderson,
I, Gretchen Henderson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
as Director of the Abington Heights School Board
as the Director of Abington Heights School Board
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations to you. Last but not least, Mrs. Karen and Dr. Karen. Karen boys are here. All right. Looking good, gentlemen. All right. Did they steal you out of basketball practice? We did. Right downstairs. There we go. You could raise your right hand. I, Emily Karen,
I, Emily Carroll,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
as Director of the Abington Heights School Board
as Director of the Abington Heights School Board
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, yes. And by the way, Judge Keeler, thank you very much for coming here and doing this. And if you're free this weekend, I will be raking leaves, so I could use your help. Since I don't get up here that often as President Pro Tem, I just want to welcome the new board members and congratulations to the two members that were reelected. It's going to be a pleasure working with all of you, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
I will now accept nominations for the office of President of the Abington Heights School Board of School Directors for 2021 to 2022. How to think about the years. Sorry about that.
I'd like to nominate Warren Acker.
On the question? No questions, then let's take a vote. Roll call.
For your first official voting, Mr. Abdallah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar,
Yes.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney. Yes. Mr. Acker.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Warren Acker has been, Warren Acker has been elected to serve as president of the Abington Heights Board of School Directors, and I hereby ask Judge Keeler to administrate the oath of office.
I, Warren Acker, do solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend, that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the United States, and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that I will discharge the duties of my office, I will discharge the duties of my office as president of the Board of Directors of the Abington Heights School Board, as the president of the Board of Directors of the Abington Heights School Board. With fidelity. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Before we begin, I also would like to welcome our new members. We are excited to have you, and we look forward to a lot of energy and good thoughts going forward. As president, I will now accept nominations from the floor for the office of Vice President of the Abington Heights School Board of Directors for the year 2021 to 2022.
Mr. Acker, I'd like to nominate Rod Azar for Vice President.
Second. Nominations have been heard from the floor. Motion is heard and are closed. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
Mrs. Henderson,
Yes.
Mrs. Karam,
Yes.
Mr. Medensky,
Yes.
Mr. Robeson,
Yes.
Mrs. Tierney.
Yes.
Mr. Acker,
Yes.
Mr. Abdallah,
Yes.
Mr. Azar.
Yes.
Motion carries 9-0.
Judge Keeler, please, Judge Keeler, please administer the oath of office of Vice President of the Board of School Directors.
I, Rod Azar, do solemnly swear.
Constitution of this Commonwealth. Vice President of the Abington Heights Board of School Directors.
Vice President of the Abington Heights Board of School Directors.
Thank you, Judge Keeler. There'll now be a short intermission prior to the public business meeting for the purpose of taking any more photographs, and we'll resume our meeting in approximately 10 minutes.
Thanks, Karen. Congratulations. Karen.
Thanks, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you for the time you put in. I would like to
Oh, yeah.
get a picture with everyone.
That would be great.
This is a dollar.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Oh, let me see, 1 second. Yeah, it's just- you're on- you're in, Sure.
Before.
Oh, thank you.
What did she have on my phone? No.
See you again. Oh, here you go.
Would you tape yourself? Did my phone lock?
Yeah.
The Henderson's my old neighbors.
Oh, it's big.
Yes, they are. They're a lot bigger than you. We're gonna yell at you, Anthony, no matter what. so.
Sorry. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And these are your girls? Caroline. And Meg. Oh, it's beautiful.
I need some soccer power.
Oh, take a sip.
Let me just go.
School doesn't call it.
I like this.
Amber's probably gonna break. Just say that.
Can't see me smiling.
Okay, the next part of our meeting, first of all, welcome to the regular meeting that is after the reorganization meeting. And the first item of business would be informational. But tonight, we have no information, so we're going to move into the public participation. So as in the past, if there is someone in the public that wants to speak, there's usually a card. Please sign in. And you have 3 minutes. I'm going to ask the board to hold any questions until the end, and then I'll call on you at that time.
I'll wait till you call up. Yeah, I'll wait till you call me up.
That's fine.
Just a precedent.
Okay, first speaker is Tom Lavelle. Nice to see you again. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Tom Lavelle, Waverly Township, President, Abington Heights Education Association. On behalf of the hardworking and dedicated professionals, teachers, educational specialists, school nurses, and counselors of the Abington Heights Education Association, I want to offer my sincere and warm welcome to our newly seated board members and our newly seated president and vice president. We look forward to working with you and continuing the tradition of success and excellence and cooperation that is emblematic of Abington Heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Mr. Lavelle, I'm sure I speak on the part of all the board members to say we echo the same sentiments. So next would be Mr. Sheehan, Waverly.
Hi, my name is Tom Sheehan. I'm from Waverly. I have a couple of handouts tonight, but if you will indulge me, I would wait until after I finish making my remarks before I hand them out. Also, I know I understand and I appreciate the 3-minute time zone. I'm not here to filibuster, so if I should happen to run over a little bit, I would ask your indulgence, okay? The first item we're going to hand out is a fact and information sheet that was produced by a man named Sam Faddis, who lives in Susquehanna County. Sam Faddis is a former CIA agent and a lawyer, and he has made it his business to look into and do research on masking and vaccine in schools in particular. He produced a sheet, as I said, which I reproduced, and I have enough copies for each of you. So I would appreciate if you take the time to look through them. I'm sure that your priority, your number one interest here is the welfare of the children. And you want to take all things into consideration when you're making your decisions about what to do and what not to do. Okay, my next item that I want to talk about is a couple of sessions ago. And if by the way, I should have taken the time to welcome all of the new board members and congratulate you and congratulate the ones that have been reelected. Again, I said, I think the first meeting I was here, I know you guys have a hard job. I've worked with school board and Abington before. So when it's, if you look in the dictionary under thankless jobs, you probably see a picture of the school board. So a couple of meetings ago, I inquired if anyone had heard of or knew anything about a guy named Howard Zinn, Z-I-N-N. Howard Zinn died in 2009, I think, but not before he wrote an American history textbook for high schools called the People's History of the United States. And it was published, I believe, back in sometime in the 1980s. It's been around a long time. And it has been in thousands of school districts. Sometimes I sit and I wonder why so many young people seem to be so fascinated, so obsessed with socialism and even Marxism. And if you learn or know anything about Howard Zinn, I think you can at least partly answer the question. That's how they got that way. Anyway, there's an article here that I came across, which I would like to read first, if you don't mind. And when I'm finished, I'm done. Okay. This article is from a website called Zinn Education Project, Teaching People's History, Pledge to Tell the Truth. Lawmakers in at least 27 states are attempting to pass legislation that would require teachers to lie to students about the role of racism, sexism, heterosexism, and oppression throughout United States history. A bill introduced in the Missouri legislature exemplifies a rash of similar bills in Texas, Idaho, Arkansas, Iowa, Louisiana, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, West Virginia, Arizona, North Carolina, and more states that aim to prohibit teachers from teaching the truth, what he calls the truth, about this country. It was founded on dispossession of Native Americans, slavery, structural racism, and oppression. And structural racism is a defining characteristic of our society today. Specifically, the Missouri bill bans teaching that identifies people or groups of people, entities, or lawmakers in at least, institutions of the United States as inherently, immutably, or systemically sexist, racist, anti-LGBT, bigoted, biased, privileged, or oppressed. But how can one teach honestly about the nature of our society without examining how today's racial inequality is a systemic legacy of this country's history? From police violence to the prison system, to the wealth gap, to the maternal mortality rates, to housing, to education and beyond, the major institutions and systems of our country are deeply infected with anti-Blackness and its intersection with other forms of oppression. To not acknowledge this and help students understand the roots of United States racism is to deceive them, not educate them. This history helps students understand the roots of inequality today and gives them the tools to shape a just future. It is not just a history of oppression, but also a history of how people have organized and created coalitions across race, class, and gender. The Missouri bill names these leading social justice education groups as those whose curricula would be banned. 1619 Project Initiative of the New York Times, the Learning for Justice curriculum of the Southern Poverty Law Center, We Stories, Programs of Educational Equity Consultants, BLM at School, Teaching for Change, Zinn Education Project, and any other similar predecessor or successor curricula. The proposed legislation fails to name a single lesson that is inaccurate or that misleads students about United States history. We, the undersigned educators, will not be bullied. We will continue our commitment to develop critical thinking that supports students to better understand problems in our society and to develop collective solutions to those problems. We are for truth-telling and uplifting the power of organizing and solidarity that move us toward a more just society. Sign the pledge. Note, this is a public pledge. We will display the name, city, state, and response to question about why you are signing the pledge. This information will be shared at the Zen Education Project website, and selected pledges will be shared on social media. To state legislators, one has not only a legal but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. And that's a quote from Martin Luther King. We, the undersigned educators, refuse to lie to young people about United States history and current events. They have a goal of 12,800 signatures. So far, they have identified 7,000, and this article is dated in September of this year. So far, they have 7,621 signatures, and these are from teachers. And by the way, if you look up this article, you will find the names of all of those people who have signed it. I haven't taken the time to go through them yet. I hope and I pray I do not see any name on there from the Abington Heights School District. And once again, I'm asking that if you would produce some written policy forbidding the teaching of any of this kind of anti-American Marxist nonsense to young people growing up. Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Sheehan, thank you very much. Do we have any public comments from the- Any comments on behalf of our board members? Mr. Sheehan, we appreciate your passion and your dedication to your beliefs. I can tell you that our new superintendent intends to go through our curriculum and review it. And I would think at that point in time, they would be reviewing your thoughts and comments as well. So we do hear you. The next part of our meeting would be for new business. I would just like to say a couple words. First of all, I want to say I'm deeply honored to be elected president of the board. I want to thank my fellow board members for the confidence you have shown in me, and I certainly will work hard to confirm your confidence. I view the role of president or director of this board, my role is less as a president or director and more as a facilitator of the board. We have a talented board with many ideas and views, and it's really my job to ensure that all your ideas are heard, considered, and acted on. Time and time again in the past, our members have talked about the board in terms of the team. It comes up many, many times. We argue, we talk, we consider, we decide, and then move forward as a team. Oftentimes, someone is on the wrong side of a decision, they accept that, and then they support what we're doing. It's my goal that we will create a similar business board dynamic going forward so that we can best serve this community and the school district. It's also important to make sure that all voices within the school community are heard in a respectful, thoughtful manner. Good suggestions and ideas can come from anywhere. What is important is to make sure that our ears are open when they come in so that we can benefit from them. Abington Heights is a new school board with 3 new members, a new superintendent, and a new board president. So I think I'd like to spend just 2 or 3 minutes talking about those core beliefs that really have guided us in the past and I expect will in the future. First, I know I speak for every member of this board when I say we will continue being as transparent to the community in our discussions and decisions as we can be. Personally, I'm very proud to have been able to serve with a group such as this that acts in a professional and completely open manner. There are no secret agendas, there are no backdoor deals, and truly, as we all know, what you see is what you get with this board, particularly when we struggle publicly with difficult decisions and issues. This is a board of high integrity. We follow the rules and laws of the land and take no shortcuts. This means at times our meetings are longer than we would all like, but there is a strong commitment to do the job right, to listen to all views, take decisions carefully and seriously. And finally, this board has always been one to act with respect to each other and within the school community, to those within the school community. In the recent past, we've heard many differing views on the COVID pandemic and how it has affected our community. Board members may not agree with some of those comments, but I can assure you that we all listen and seriously consider those points of view. And I say to those people, your time is never wasted. We want to hear what your views are. Over the last few weeks, I've had the great pleasure to meet or speak with all of our board members. And while we have different views and approaches to the year ahead, to the person, I can tell you there's a strong commitment to the students and families of this great school district. At the same time, we also recognize that there's a need for us to be good stewards of the district finances. This board has voiced to me many of the same sentiments that Dr. Schaefer, our incoming superintendent, mentioned at the meeting he was selected. We want to set high expectations, work to ensure that when our students leave Abington Heights, they are prepared to thrive and excel outside this bubble that we all call home. To the person, this board is committed to making Dr. Schaefer and the school district successful. We are all excited to have the opportunity to work with him and all district personnel in a collaborative fashion to make us all better than we can be alone. So thank you very much. With that, is there any other business? I would move for adjournment.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Yep, some old business. I want to thank the board for partnering last month with the Scranton School of the Deaf. I happen to be coaching the junior high indoor track, and we have welcomed some students from the School of the Deaf. And I am so proud of the Abington Heights Junior High indoor track program. Every day we are learning a new sign. We have incredible new students from the School of the Deaf who are great athletes, and it has been an incredible start of 2 weeks of seeing the partnership with our kids and how welcoming they are. And we're all learning sign. I'm a talented runner, but I can tell you I'm learning sign beautifully. And I just wanted to share that with all of us because we just approved the partnership last month. And it's just such a great, beautiful way for our Abington kids to partner and learn more than running. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. It's a beautiful thing. So thank you. Thank you for partnering with them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Okay, now I'll move to adjourn. So, thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.